to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. Happy Thanksgiving. My name is Nick Rohde, joined alongside my good friend and co-host Tony Cepeda. Today, we are talking about Week 12, Bears versus Lions in Detroit. Detroit sucks, according to Tony. On Thanksgiving, the Bears are 3-7. The Lions are 0-9-1, the tie from the Pittsburgh Steelers, who the Bears lost to in an absolute heartbreaker. We are not going to talk about that game. Tony, what's going on with the Bears?
Yeah, they are on a 5-game losing streak. Don't know if you guys noticed. There hasn't been a lot of winning since specifically October 10th. Detroit almost beat Cleveland and tied with Pittsburgh the week before. So to say they're hot would be an understatement. Coming in, absolutely firing on all cylinders. But before we get into all that, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Stupid Car Tray.
Black Friday is here. Head over to stupidcartray.com and get 2 Stupid Car Trays. Buy one, get one 50% off. Shipped within 24 hours of your order. Don't worry about your family and friends not getting their gifts this year. Get the gift that's absolutely perfect. Let's jump into it, Tony. But before we jump into it, I feel like everyone should put this below. But Tony, what is the most amount of plates you've ever gone for at a Thanksgiving meal?
Yeah, so I mean, I've gone back, tons of times, kind of snacking a little, but I'd say like full plates where you get a little bit of everything. It's probably 3. There was one where I just didn't eat all day. I think it was in high school, peak of my athletic career, my athletic prowess, of course. And I just absolutely hammered. I was still growing, just hammered stuffing, hammered some turkey, just had the yams, love yams. Just had a grand old time. How about you?
Do you have, so the most plates I've ever done, as sad as this is, and people can back it up, is that I've had 5 full plates. And that was in the peak. That was during volleyball. So I played volleyball for Deerfield High School. That was like before season, during workouts, able to run 6 miles and my knees didn't crack. As sad as it is, like I'm almost 25 now and my knees are like already starting to, have my family's unfortunate genes. And my favorite Thanksgiving dish is, it's just as much turkey as I can get my hands on. Stuffing turkey. I'm that guy that like mixes it all together and just eats it as like one. And it's just amazing. It's just amazing. So I know that we're not here to talk about that, but we're here to talk about the Bears are going to feast on some Lions. So Tony, quickly, Bears injury update. Justin Fields is out with a rib injury. Akeem Hicks is out with an ankle injury. Damian Williams is out with a calf injury. That dude just cannot stay healthy. Allen Robinson is doubtful with a hamstring injury. Tayshaun Gibson Sr., who is also seems to always be on the injury list, but ends up playing. He now has a chest injury. He is questionable. Marquise Goodwin, a shoulder injury. He was full participant in practice all week till yesterday, or till today. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So he is questionable for tomorrow. We need him if Allen Robinson's definitely going to be out. And Mario Edwards Jr. ribs and Eddie Jackson hamstring are also both questionable. So, good things. The Bears are banged up. The Bears are just a disaster in regards to the injury bug. Could not have come at a worse time. Tony, any thoughts that, the Bears, what they, with these players hurt, they still have some of their bigger names like Robert Quinn and Roquan Smith and Jalen Johnson, all those guys out there. Can the Bears still pull this thing off even with the injury report?
I actually do. It is funny. All these guys are hurt, but until you just see it in front of you, until you hear it read off, it's this guy and this guy and this guy, you're like, oh boy, maybe we're in some trouble. But honestly, the defense wasn't bad last week. They really weren't. I know at the end, obviously recency bias, they were horrible on that last drive, but I have a lot of faith in that front 7. They'll kind of keep the back 4, the DBs in the game. So you know what? I'm going to put a personal guarantee on a Bears victory this week because we're playing the Lions, dude. We're playing Tim Boyle. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Or I'll do absolutely nothing because they'll probably lose. I guarantee it.
You know what? It would just be like just the perfect nail in the coffin if these Matt Nagy reports are true in regards to losing to Detroit on Thanksgiving to the 0-9-1 and Detroit's only win being the Chicago Bears and Matt Nagy's last game. If it actually is true that he's getting fired. So, I hope for the best for this, but Tony, let's just jump into for the viewers, the Bears offense versus the Lions. Very not good defense.
Yeah. Again, we have an absolute, heck of a game coming up here at 11:30 in the morning. Just get to start off your day just throwing up all over yourself. So the Lions defensive rating overall is ranked 26th. Their passing defense is by far, keeping that off the absolute bottom. They're ranked 13th in the pass, which honestly is not what we want to see when we have nothing against Andy Dalton. It's just our aerial attack isn't exactly dynamic as
hey, don't go against Andy Dalton.
Hey, it's not even, even Justin Fields coming in, I wouldn't want to see a good passing defense, going against them. So the rushing defense is 31st, which is awesome. We'll talk about the Bears offensive rankings in a second. Points allowed 29th. So it's good for the Bears, a team that does not put up a lot of points, but hopefully we can put up a few on Thanksgiving. So the Bears offensive rankings overall, 31st, which is just always so sad to read. It never changes. Passing defense,
not last
again, not last though. Unlike their passing defense, that is last again for like the 10th week in a row, 11th week in a row. Rushing or passing offense, my apologies. The rushing offense is 6th though, which has moved down 1, and that is awesome going against the Lions. 31st ranked rushing defense. So I think we'll kind of get into it probably with the keys to the game more. But I think we are going to, as you said, feast on that Lions front 7 running the ball. Points scored is 28th, ahead of the Lions, which is good to see, I guess. We're in for a bad football game. I'm not excited, I'll be honest. But I think Andy Dalton slings it all over the yard. I think Monty goes over 150 yards. And I think, I don't know what to say about this offense, man. We're abysmal.
So something I want to put out there also is that Nick Foles will be active this game because of Justin Fields being out. So you never know.
Did you hear? I didn't realize this. I always knew like Tariq Cohen was our backup, like emergency quarterback. I didn't realize David Montgomery was the emergency quarterback. That was news to me. I'd rather have him in there. I'd rather have him instead of Nick Foles, if I'm being honest. I mean, that's at least fun.
Whoa. Hey, Nick Foles is a nice guy. He said hi to me at Walgreens. Nice guy. Nice guys don't win football games, though.
I don't mean as a starting franchise quarterback. Maybe. But I mean, like, in a situation, we're playing the Lions. Andy Dalton, God forbid, goes down. Never wish injuries or anything, of course. But, if I have a choice between Nick Foles or David Montgomery on Thanksgiving Thursday at 11 in the morning, 12 in the morning, whatever, noon, I'm all over the place. My apologies.
Wherever you are in the nation.
That'd be sick. So, yeah. Nick, you got any other thoughts? You want to go into the other side?
No. There's nothing much more. I just think it's cool that Nick Foles is actually going to be active this game. And I think it's another good call out that David Montgomery is our 4th-string quarterback. You would think Pat O'Donnell, you would definitely not Carlos Santos because he can't even see over the offensive line. But let's just go into Bears defense versus Lions offense. So Lions offensive ranking, overall is ranked 26. So not very good on that side of the ball. They're passing, even with Jared Goff, is ranked 30th. Like, that's just absolutely absurd to me. Like, I couldn't believe it when I was putting these stats down. I was like, wow, okay, like, really? Not bad. So you get the rush in there. They're the 16th ranked rushing offense. So not bad, picking poison, but they're ranked 29th in scoring. So the Lions don't put up points. And guess what? The Bears defense doesn't allow a lot of points depending on the game. They've done it 3 times this season, but otherwise the games that the Bears are decently close with, it's not a lot of points. I mean, 16 points against the Ravens, which is pretty impressive. Even without Lamar Jackson, that's still a decent offensive team. So going to the Bears defensive ranking, they're ranked 11th. They've gone up 1 spot after that Ravens game. Passing, they're down 1 spot at the 11th. Horrible game last week in regards to the passing game. But their rushing also is ranked 23rd. That's something that the Bears surprisingly are weak at this year, considering Robert Quinn already has 10 sacks. Roquan Smith is an absolute animal. The rush, there's big rushes that hurt the Bears. So, and then points allowed, we're ranked 20th. So we're a little behind the middle of the pack, but this, I'm not worried about this Lions offense. But overall, listen, Kendall Vildor better not see any playing time. He was a disaster last week against the Ravens. They showed the camera footage of him putting his hands on his head. I'm like, dude, don't show defeat. That's like 101. Like, you don't show defeat. You constantly show confidence. And he didn't know what to do. He knew that was on him. He's targeted 11 times versus Jalen Johnson only being targeted 2 times last week. So but the thing is that Duke Shelley is on the IR. So it's just toss up exactly who you want to have out there. But Kendall Vildor should not see any playing time until he gets his head right or his skills are there. But let Robert Quinn go crazy in that regard. He's the first Bear since Richard Dent in the 90s to have 10 sacks through the first 10 games. Very impressive for the Chicago Bears. Let him get 2 more and rough up Detroit's offense. And they can rush, so shut it down early. Eddie Goldman, make up for that horrible effort to get off the field last week, even though the officials should have called a subbing, not ran the clock yet. Still absolutely horrendous. So, Tony, any thoughts on the Bears defense versus, I know that you're ready to absolutely feast, but any more comments before we go into 3 keys of the game?
Yeah. So Deandre Swift, honestly, I love that guy. I really like it. Sucks he's on the Lions because I wanted to root for him coming into the NFL. He's good. He is going to, I imagine he's going to be the entire offense for the Lions. Like I said, it is tough not having Hicks in the middle there to plug up the run like we have had in the past, obviously because he's hurt. But there's zero reason we should let Tim Boyle, I don't know, succeed.
Hate Tim Boyle.
It's not that I hate Tim Boyle. I bet he's a nice guy. I shout out to him for being a horrific college quarterback and somehow getting paid millions of dollars to be a quarterback in the NFL by 2 different teams. That's insane. So there's no reason though. There's no reason he should be able to be an NFL team. If the Bears have any pride at all, no pun intended, Lions pride, get it there. Yep. No pun intended. Tim Boyle should be sacked 5 times minimum, 3 picks
in the first half.
In the first half. I can't even remember the Ravens backup quarterback, but I mean, Tyler Huntley. Floating. Tyler Huntley. Like at least he had a little spunk to him. He was running around. He was kind of slinging it. Tim Boyle is not that. There's no reason that they should put up over 14 points, unless it's just DeAndre Swift is gashing us. Then, I'll live with it.
My last comment before we move into 3 keys of the game is that I want to see the Bears use Bruce Irvin. Like, we signed him. It was a very big signing, and he's still not. They promoted Sam Kamara. Shout out to Sam Kamara, but like they promoted him to the active roster over Bruce Irvin. And I don't know if that's because you got to get used to the playbook, but we're already halfway through the season. Just tell the guy to rush the ball every single time. And then you slowly learn as games go on. So Tony, let's go into 3 keys of the game before we close out.
Yeah. So you guys may have heard this one before, but I mean, I have to say it every week. I know they did it 1 week. They listened to 1 week. So I have to keep bringing it up. You got to use the tight end still because
it worked.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially with Allen Robinson being doubtful. And even if he plays, he's playing hurt. I know he's probably not exactly thrilled with the whole situation in Chicago anyway. So who knows? Not saying he's going to dog it or anything, but I don't blame him. I'd say, oh yeah, hamstring acting up again, not getting hurt for you, you bums, Matt Nagy. Not bums is in the Bears, bums is in the coaching staff. So throw it to your big guys, throw it to Jimmy Graham. It's what we're paying him for. Like we said, I think on the last podcast, a couple podcasts ago, he better be just getting all the reps. There's no reason he should have a playoff. He has to earn his money. And Cole Kmet's just a good target. You got to throw it to Cole Kmet. That's the only thing that's going to open up Darnell Mooney and the other wide receivers, Marquise Goodwin, etc. Key number 2, touched on Tim Boyle already. Force him to throw the ball. Shut down. If you got to stack the box, whatever you got to do, force him to beat you. Because if he beats you, if he has the game of his life, if he has the old guy on the Packers,
one-hit wonder.
Yeah, where he had the one good game against the Lions and went to the Seahawks. Then Russell Wilson beat him out.
Oh, Matt Flynn. Matt Flynn.
I shout out that guy. That guy. Talking about finesse Hall of Fame. Finesse
the system.
Got the bag and played like 1 preseason game for the Seahawks. But if Tim Boyle has one of those days where it's like, best quarterback in the world, you gotta, just tip your hat to him. But I can't imagine that's going to happen. Force him to throw the ball. I think good things happen. And the last key to the game, it's not really analytical or statistical. Don't Nagy it up. That's what I'm going to call it, because that was the biggest key.
That was a shirt.
That was the biggest thing. Yeah. Oh, that is a shirt. Good idea. Yeah. Shirt's going on sale Monday. So that was the biggest thing with that Ravens game was, I mean, obviously there were, mistakes on defense. The offense wasn't looking great, but it was just the wasting of the timeouts, just calling a wildcat with David Montgomery on 4th and 1, just all the crazy nonsense. Just don't Nagy it up. Just win the game. I think you have that in there, Nick, at some point. Just win, baby. So let's hear your keys.
So I'm just super fast, and these ones are obvious for you folks. Run the damn ball with both Khalil Herbert and David Montgomery. I hate that we have a 1-2 punch finally, and Khalil Herbert arguably could have been in that, at least top 10 finalist for Rookie of the Year, and that's an honor to be in that. And because of Matt Nagy, he is holding him back, like he's held back other players. Run both of them. You're going against the 31st ranked rushing defense in the NFL. Run the ball. Got to say that. Don't sleep on the Lions passing them. Okay. Like, even though Jared Goff, like, they're not ranked well, the Lions passing offense is not ranked well. Jared Goff got the job done. Like, he was able to slingshot the ball. He was able to do what he had to do. Overall, Bears secondary performance has been horrendous, at least last game. So do not sleep on the Lions passing game, because they're going to know the weaknesses, and they're going to want to win this game at home on Thanksgiving. Finally, go against Matt Nagy, Andy Dalton. I am an Andy Dalton fan, and I will die on that hill. But no more scripts, no more whatever Nagy does in practice, no more walkthroughs. Run the game like you want to to keep the playoff hopes alive. The Bears are still 2 games out of the playoffs, and I already know someone's going to comment, here goes the playoff hopes. That's why we're called optimistic. That's why we do what we do. The Bears are not done till the fat lady sings or Matt Nagy is still the head coach. So that's all I got to say to that. But overall, score predictions, just win. 21-14. I don't care if it's close or not. Get the win. Matt Nagy, let him end on a win if he ends up actually leaving after this game. And give that momentum. And hear me out. I saw a meme of this, but Bears players on the injury report, did you see this? Where, like, the guy, like, wakes up out of the coffin when players hear Matt Nagy's fired, they all just like, we're not injured anymore. Please. Just so that's my prediction. Tony, what's your score prediction?
So I think honestly, I don't know if this is the over. I think the over is 41.5, but I'm gonna take the over and also predict that the Bears win 31-10. I'm actually waiting for the last leg of a soccer parlay to hopefully cash here. Manchester City just scored, and it's gonna be $167. Putting it all on the Bears money line, maybe -3. I have to decide still. I think the Bears win tomorrow. They can't not. This is classic Bears, by the way. It happened earlier this season against the Lions, where it was like, oh, season's over. We're done. No chance. Everyone's picking the Lions. Is this when the Lions are going to win? Oh, and then they come out, and then it's like, wow, has Nagy fixed the team? And then we get blown out next week. But that's a whole different story. I think the Bears win this week, and they win big.
I love it. It's 31-10. I like that score. I see that you got that written down. So overall, I'm excited for tomorrow because I get to sit on my couch, get fat, and watch the Bears play football and play in a turkey bowl. Shout out to the turkey bowl that we're playing in tomorrow. I am going full blown. I don't care. It's tackle, no pads. I'm ripping someone's head off tomorrow. Like, I am so amped up for the turkey bowl. It's my favorite day of the year because I can legally hit someone and no one can yell at me. So overall, and again, no violence, but football, that's what I miss football so much in regards to, like, literally that's what your coaches would say to you. You are legally able to go and hit somebody. So
legal violence, baby. Legal violence. Yep.
Legal violence. So with that, thank you very much for joining this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. Tony, thank you for joining as always, and happy Thanksgiving to you and your families. Eat lots of plates. Let's see how many plates that you guys are going for tomorrow. We'll be back on Friday with a special guest and talking about, did Matt Nagy get fired, or is he still the Bears head coach? So more to come on there. But with that, thank you very much for joining this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you guys on.